TC Helicon, I've decided to make a shift to something a little bit smaller. While I absolutely love the Voice Live 3, it's just a little bit too big on stage for me. And there's a million different things, but really I only end up using the tone effects, that is the compression and the EQing that makes your voice sound just that little bit better, and the harmonizer. So I've just bought the Harmony Singer. I'm just intrigued to see how the effects that this pedal has to offer compares with the equivalent effects on the Voice Live. So all the audio you're hearing is going through the Harmony Singer right now. At the minute I've got no reverb, but of course if I turn this knob, then I can increase it. You can see that the first quarter of the circle is a sort of plate reverb. Move it a little bit more and the reverb starts again, as it were, starts from 0 wet, and then it works its way up to more and more, and then into club, which sounds like this, and then you can go all the way to hall as well, which sounds like this, which is a little bit crazy. That's sort of a nice amount of reverb for me, not too much, especially when I'm performing live. I want it to sound fairly clean without just a little bit of reverb. Now I can see what they're doing by keeping things simple with just one knob, switching between the different kinds of reverb, but honestly I can see it being pretty easy to knock this, and if you knock it a little bit to the left, you're going all the way into a lot of plate reverb. So it's one of those design choices that I kind of get it, but I think it would have been nicer if you actually had a switch to make sure that you don't get accidental knocks. Of course we have the tone button as well. That does all kinds of things to your voice, so compression, gate, EQ, all that jazz, and it really does do the job. If I turn it off, this is me talking with the tone applied, and then without the tone you can hear that there's a lot more popping going on, and it just doesn't have that brightness, does it, that it does when you have that tone applied. That's a really, really big draw for this little box, is that before you even get to the harmonizing, it makes your voice sound a lot better. One thing to note is that there is no input gain. Again, TC just want to make it as simple as possible for users, and so they have this auto gain feature. It does auto phantom power as well if you plug a condenser mic into it, and I can see again how that would be good for people who maybe don't know their kit too well, who don't know how to set up kit, so they could just plug a mic in and away they go. However, it does result in a little bit of clipping sometimes, a little bit of distortion, because of course there is going to be that delay in the auto gain deciding what the gain should be. It's a good idea. I just wish that it had the option, maybe a little switch on the back between auto gain and manual gain. That would have been perfect. Okay, so let's actually get on to the important thing, that is the harmonizer. So of course on the left you have your various intervals, and so it's not massively clear from the lines around the circles what they are, but you can see that the further away from the lines, the further away from your note that you're singing, the vocals are going to be. There's only a couple of these that I'm going to use. The main one obviously just being a third up. That's the sort of staple harmony setting. I've got my guitar here as well, my acoustic. Whoa, whoa. Let's turn on the harmony. Whoa. And you can increase the wetness of the harmonizer, increase the level of it using the middle dial there. You never want it too much, otherwise it sounds a little bit naff. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit so you can actually hear it a bit better. You've got me all wrong. You left me underwater to tumble and fall. So many years ago. You've got me all wrong. You've got me all wrong. Oh, you've got me all wrong. You've got me all wrong. Okay, so you can hear that it does a pretty good job of picking up what chords I'm playing. Did miss an E minor in there. It thought that it was an E major, so it came out with a dodgy harmony. And that's one of the things still with this kit, is that it does get it wrong now and again. And that's one of the reasons why you don't want the level of your harmony too loud, just in case it really comes out with a weird harmony. Okay, let's try something a little bit faster to see if it can keep up.
You can try to run, but you can't hide. She'll stop your heart like cyanide. Her fingers itching on the trigger. This girl is a stone cold killer. Can't stop, she's on a mission. What you gotta do when you're out of ammunition? Tick tock, she's TNT, she got eyes on. She's gunning for me. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Not bad. Did a pretty good job keeping up there.
I was Cleopatra. I was young and an actress when you knelt by my mattress and asked for my hand. And I was sad you asked it when I laid in a black dress with my father in a casket. I had no plans. The only gifts from my Lord were a birth and a divorce. But I read this script and a costume fix, so I played my part.
Again, not bad. Now, one thing you'll notice is that if you're using a condenser microphone, there's going to be a lot of bleeding from your acoustic guitar into the microphone. So I highly recommend not using one of those with this. Chances are you won't be using that on stage anyway. You'll probably be using an SM58 or something like that. However, seeing that these guys are really kind of best in the world at what they do with this stuff, it would be kind of nice to see them implementing some sort of guitar cancelling algorithm. It would be really hard to get rid of those frequencies just from the guitar without affecting the voice too much, but it would be kind of nice to have that. Maybe a more aggressive gate, something like that. Again, even though this is an absolutely brilliant piece of kit and it's really small as well, it has a really small footprint compared to the massive Voice Live, there are a couple of things that I miss on it, and that is options. You have no control over the gains or the outputs of the guitar and the microphone, which you do on the Voice Live. It would be really nice to have that guitar EQ and compression in there as well, just like on the Voice Live. This is a really stripped down version of a Voice Live with just leaving you with the bare bones. And yeah, sure, it does the job, but there might be that 1 in 10 times where you're actually on stage and you're just thinking, wow, I really wish that I had this option right now. It's just up to you whether you can live without it or not. Seeing that you can connect this to your PC using USB, again, it would be really nice to have the option to maybe tweak the tone, the EQ, the gate and the compression and maybe guitar effects via that. You don't need to have all the settings on the unit itself, but it would be nice to have those options. It runs on batteries as well, 4 AAs, which is nice, not a 9-volt battery, which is nice. However, there is the problem of price. This will set you back about just under £200, whereas a Voice Live 3 will cost you about $500 nowadays. And that's the thing, is that it's about a third of the price of a Voice Live, and yet has about only 10% of the functionality of one. So in my mind, it's just a little bit on the steep side. If it was around £100, absolutely, I would be able to recommend this piece of kit, no questions asked. But it's just up to you to decide whether you want the piece of kit to be small and natty and simple like this, or a little bit bigger, but with way more functionality like a Voice Live 3 or a Voice Live Play. So I hope you found this review helpful. Leave a like if you did. I'll see you next time. Having now had the Voice Live 2 and the Voice Live 3 from TC Helicon, I've decided to make a shift to something a little bit smaller. While I absolutely love the Voice Live 3, it's just a little bit too big on stage for me. And there's a million different things, but really I only end up using the tone effects, that is the compression and the EQing that makes your voice sound just that little bit better, and the harmonizer. So I've just bought the Harmony Singer. I'm just intrigued to see how the effects that this pedal has to offer compares with the equivalent effects on the Voice Live. So all the audio you're hearing is going through the Harmony Singer right now. At the minute I've got no reverb, but of course if I turn this knob, then I can increase it. You can see that the first quarter of the circle is a sort of plate reverb. Move it a little bit more and the reverb starts again, as it were, starts from 0 wet, and then it works its way up to more and more, and then into club.